Glad you stuck around. The Oscars are an exciting time for people of all ages.
They're even exciting for kids. With a 9-year-old Best Actress nominee, how could it not be?
But is it even fair to nominate children? Here to answer that question is Connor Fak with a segment called Kids at the Oscars. Connor?
Children. Seems like they're everywhere these days. On the streets, in restaurants, and on your favorite television program. Somehow they've even managed to infiltrate our beloved Oscars ceremony. This year, there was yet another kiddie in the running for a statuette, with 9-year-old Quvenzhané Wallis nominated for Best Actress. So what? Good for her. I didn't see it, but many people have said wonderful things about Beasts of the Southern Wild. Still, her very nomination has naysayers once again asking the question, can children act? Not that it's a new question. A similar circumstance arose at the 4th Oscars ever, way back in 1931. Then 9-year-old Jackie Cooper was nominated for Best Actor in a leading role in the film Skippy, about a kid who grew up in some Little Rascals-esque shanty town. But even back then, there was a notion that children that young may not know the difference between acting and real life. In a certain scene, Skippy required that Cooper cry on camera. So did he simply summon some Shakespearean willpower to unleash the waterworks? No, the director, his uncle, told Cooper that he was going to kill his dog. Cue tears. And so on through the ages. Imagine the voices of the Peanuts gang in any TV special from A Charlie Brown Christmas on. Their stilted way of speaking comes from the fact that the child actors don't actually understand many of their lines, which they're fed one at a time. On the other hand, some child actors know precisely what they're doing. Case in point, the youngest person ever to win an Academy Award of any kind, Shirley Temple, who received an Academy Juvenile Award in 1934 at the ripe old age of 6½. Temple could not only sing and dance, sometimes suggesting her own steps, but portray multifaceted, if not stereotypically cute, characters as well. Created before the awards for Best Supporting Actor and Actress, the Juvenile Award was only given intermittently between 1934 and 1961 to distinguished stars under the age of 18. Its viability ended at the '63 Oscars when 16-year-old Patty Duke won Best Supporting Actress for her role in The Miracle Worker, becoming the youngest then actor ever to win an Academy Award of Merit and proving that a child could compete against adult. In recent years, we've seen quite a few qualified and powerful performances from young actors. Haley Joel Osment got a supporting actor nod for Seeing Dead People in The Sixth Sense as an 11-year-old in 1999. Similarly, co-stars were astounded with the seriousness of purpose during shooting of Abigail Breslin, nominated at age 10 for supporting actress for 2006's Little Miss Sunshine. But children are capable of taking lead nominations too, as Miss Wallis proves this year. She joins other recent noms, Keisha Castle-Hughes, 13-year-old star of 2003's Whale Rider, and Haley Steinfeld, who starred at age 14 in a personal favorite of mine, 2010's True Grit. Still, it remains a mixed bag. How young is too young, we may never know. In a nutshell, however, a film director should be a coach, not a puppet master. As long as a young performer is consciously aware of what he's doing, that he's playing a role, there's no reason he can't be nominated, or sometimes even win. I'm Connor Fak. Kayli and Andrew, back to you.
Thanks, Connor. Speaking of child nominees, Holly Wellman is here to tell you about the Oscars' youngest ever nominee in a special installment of Actor Spotlight. Holly?
With the numerous celebrities walking the red carpet and participating in this year's Oscars, it's hard to put a spotlight on just one. However, there is one tiny exception. Literally. Quvenzhané Wallis is the youngest Oscar nominee ever at age 9 for her role as Hush Puppy in Beasts of the Southern Wild. The young actress was interviewed before the Oscars and acted like a normal 9-year-old kid, claiming to be a huge girly girl and just being silly. Though she didn't win the title of Best Actress, she obviously gained a lot of attention for her already successful, though short, career. Seth MacFarlane addressed her during his opening, saying, quote, "So let me just address those of you up for an award. So you got nominated for an Oscar, something a 9-year-old could do. She's adorable, Quvenzhané. She said to me backstage, I really hope I don't lose to that old lady Jennifer Lawrence," unquote. However, MacFarlane seemed to have stepped over the line by saying, quote, "To give you an idea of how young she is, it'll be 16 years before she's too old for Clooney." She even got inappropriate attention on Twitter from a normally funny satirical website called The Onion when they called her the C word. The Onion has released a statement to apologize, But really, Quvenzhané gets the last laugh. It has been released that she will be the leading lady in the remake of Annie by Sony Pictures Entertainment. The president of the production studio said, quote, "She's an extraordinary young talent with an amazing range, not only as an actress, but as a singer and dancer, and we can't wait for audience to further discover her." Annie will be produced by Will Smith, his wife Jada Pinkett Smith, and rapper Jay-Z, and it will hit theaters during the 2014 holiday season. Maybe the film will score her another Oscar nomination. We'll just have to wait and see. This has been Actor Spotlight. I'm Holly Wellman. Stay fabulous and classy.
Thanks, Holly. Quvenzhané is so cute. I think she has a good long career ahead of her.
Well, it looks like it's time for our last break. When we come back, Aaron Beal will give us his suggestions for next year's Oscars, so don't go away.
I know the way out of here.
You make everything sound so simple.
Simple farm boy.
Not at all.
Who are you?
It's Jack! Ready?
For what?
To take back my ship.
Engage the Phantom.
Honor kill him if we don't get him to that interview.
You know this guy?
Why? Because I'm Asian? We don't all know each other, you racist mother.
Whoa.
Oh, wait, I do know this guy.
What the
A piece of him is still inside you. We will summon him.
Welcome back. Putting together a 3-hour-plus Oscar telecast is no easy feat. And unfortunately, you can't please everyone. Aaron Beal is here with some suggestions for the Academy to try next year. Aaron?
I think this year's Oscars was one of the most fun I've seen, and I watch every year. Seth MacFarlane surprised me. I love what he brought to the show, but having said that, there's still room for improvement. Here are 5 ways to improve the show for 2014's broadcast. Number 5. We need to keep closer tabs on Jack Nicholson. There's a video on the internet of the legendary actor shamelessly putting the moves on Jennifer Lawrence backstage. That's just what was captured on film. Imagine if we followed him with a small crew the whole evening. You really think Jennifer Lawrence is the only one that caught Jack's eye that night? None of the Best Actress nominees were safe. Number 4, change the venue. Every year the Oscars have been held at the same location, the Kodak Theater. It's like going to the same party every year. It could get boring. Maybe we could switch it up a little bit. Maybe have Clooney host the ceremony, then maybe Meryl Streep could take the responsibilities in 2015. Or better yet, I know Nicolas Cage has a castle somewhere. The man owns a literal castle. Next year I want the Oscars at Nick Cage's castle, hosted by Sean Connery. Number 3, Adele is amazing. The theme song to Skyfall is amazing. I'm thinking that when speeches start running over, rather than playing the winners off, Adele can be lowered from the ceiling singing Skyfall. Of course, then they deliberately go over time to hear her perform, so maybe scratch that one out as counterproductive, but she needs to come back. Number 2, I've often thought that there should be a stunts category at the Oscars. Whether it's staged car crashes or burning themselves alive, stunt people work hard and often put their lives in danger in order to help audiences suspend their disbelief while they watch the movies. This year's Oscars, they had a theme of music and film. Maybe next year they should do stunts and film, maybe hosted by Bruce Willis or somebody. And number 1, the reason I was interested in Best Makeup and Best Production Design this year was because I was involved in a high-stakes Oscar pool, and the tech awards are where the big money is. But for those of us who aren't into betting on the successes and failures of the Hollywood elite, the show can run a little long. There needs to be a way to still present the awards, but streamline the process. A t-shirt gun seems to be the way to go. The presenter, of course, would need to be well-trained and capable of handling such a device, although I'd pay good money to see Maggie Smith shoot an Oscar out of a t-shirt gun. Those are my suggestions for next year's Oscars. I'm Aaron Beal.
Thanks, Aaron. I hope the Academy takes your ideas to heart, and I can't wait to see what's in store for next year.
I completely agree. But now it's time to wrap things up. Don't worry, we're not going to sing a song, but we will give you our final word. After you, Kayli.
Well, this just in, men with long hair win big at the Oscars. Seriously, I felt like I was watching a special on Lord of the Rings elves last night. First, there was Paul and Jay Otteson sporting luscious strawberry blonde locks when accepting the award for sound editing for Zero Dark 30. And immediately following him was Legolas lookalike Per Hallberg, the sound editor of Skyfall. It's also interesting to note that he shared the stage with co-editor Karen Baker Landers, who had the same hairstyle. Then we had Legolas's cousin, Claudio Miranda, who accepted the award for cinematography for Life of Pi. This was definitely the fashion trend of the night. And you thought the Oscars were long, but these men's hair was longer.
Okay, for my final word, I just want to voice my opinion on this year's Oscar host, Seth MacFarlane. I have been hearing a lot of mixed reviews on him, and I just have to say that I thought he was a great host. I think that can be reflected in the fact that this year's Oscars produced the best ratings in years. The ratings were the best since 2010, and were up 2% over last year's show with Billy Crystal. I'm a huge fan of Family Guy and Ted, but when I first heard MacFarlane was hosting, I was a little taken back. I didn't think he was host material. Of course, neither were Anne Hathaway or James Franco, but that's a different story. MacFarlane turned out to be a natural entertainer on the stage, even if a few of his jokes were hit or miss, aka his Lincoln joke. But all around, he was fun to watch. My best MacFarlane moments were a sock puppet reenactment of Flight, the TED sketch, and lastly, his hilarious closing song about the losers of the Oscars. And maybe my expectations were just low enough for me to be surprised, but really wouldn't mind seeing MacFarlane make a reappearance as an Oscar host.
Well, that's it for us this week. Thanks for tuning in to Real Deal's Oscar special. Be sure to check out our Twitter and Facebook pages for updates on all things entertainment. Until next time, I'm Kayli Russell.
I'm Andrew Bennett. See you next time.